Hi everyone, I'm Mahesh from Concall. We have recently launched our platform and got a good response from all of you. We have got lot of requests on how to use our platform. So in this video, I will walk you through our platform and show you how you can make best use of it to analyze businesses. So let's get started. If you are new to investing, you may wonder what is Concall. Concall is a short form for conference call. This is an event hosted by the company and the management where they discuss about the business, mainly quarterly updates, acquisitions, special events, or annual general meeting. This is an opportunity for the investors, shareholders, or analysts to directly ask questions to the management and understand the business vision and what is going on around the company directly from the people running this business. This is a critical piece of information that you should be looking for if you are seriously invested in these companies. We help you to analyze these con calls in the simplest manner possible. Let's see how. Once you type concall.in in your browser, you will come to this homepage. Here you can search for any company that is on your mind and get started with the analysis. We will come back to this in some time. We have two types of calendar here. One to track results or earnings. Second is to track con calls. Then we have exchange filings. These are the announcements made by companies directly to the exchange. This is the source of information that you see for the company in the news, media, or anywhere. Before we deep dive into these features, I would recommend you to log in so that you can access all the features available on the platform. Now take a particular company for analysis. So let's take Jubilant Foodworks, which runs the Domino's franchise. As soon as we come to the company page, we can see the headline metrics here, like market cap, price to earning, price to book, dividend yield. We can also look at standalone or consolidated metrics here. There are mainly three sections: updates, analysis, and chat. In the update sections, we have announcements. These are the filings done by the company to the exchange directly. We can see all the announcement in the feed manner and can track the company updates in the real time on this page. We can also filter this announcement by the category. For an example, if I want to see all the investor presentation released by Jubilant Foodworks, I can do that. And it will give me all the presentations. Going to the document section. Here we can see the documents are curated into a particular formats. For an example, every quarter, companies are likely to release these documents about results. Financial result is a raw document to understand the financials. Then there is investor presentation or earnings deck. Companies also release earnings press release. Then related to earnings call, there is a recording and there is a transcript. These are the basic sources to hear the earnings call or to read or go through the full transcript. These documents can be easily accessed here for any quarter that you want to analyze. Under that, you can see all the historic documents available like presentation, transcripts, and annual reports. It also has taggings like which quarter it belongs to or if it is a particular event. Coming to the event section, we can see upcoming events and the past events. Upcoming events, as you can see, there is result date and con call invite on this August 13th. We can open the invite and join the con call directly from here. Generally, there is a link and dial-in details are attached in this document. Then there are past events where we can find dividend, bonus, split, and other corporate events. Now let's go to the analysis part. Here we can see there are three items: financials, Concall highlights, and Concall Q&A. Financials is useful to look at the quarterly and annual results that company has reported. Concall highlights and Q&A are useful to analyze the Concall. Let's talk about the financial first. Here we have two types of views to analyze the quarterly results. One is quarter over quarter, year over year view, which company generally reports in their investor presentation. Another is last 5 quarters, which is useful to see the historic trend. In this view, we can select the quarter we want to analyze, and also we can switch between consolidated and standalone results. Here we can see year over year comparison. Also, we can toggle it to see quarter over quarter percentage change. In this case, revenue has increased, but net profit has decreased. If we see further, actually there was an exceptional item here, and that's why you can see there is not much difference in the net profit margin. So this is how it is useful to look at the headline numbers and then deep dive into the expanded metrics. If we see last 5 quarters, it helps us to see the historic trends. For an example, we can see how EBITDA margin is trending. So that gives us a good idea on if company is improving on EBITDA margin over time or not. This is more relevant in the annual results. Let's now talk about one of the most powerful features of our platform, which is Concall Analysis. We can analyze Concall through highlights, Q&A, and the chat feature. Let's look at the highlights first. Highlights is an summary generated by AI, which takes care of taking the important points from the call and represent it as a sweet and short manner. If you can see, it's mostly one-liner and it covers all the important discussion points. For an example, it covers the financial performance, operational highlights, what are the international business updates, and what is the outlook, etc. However, summaries are not always enough. So we have Concall Q&A section. In the Q&A section, we curate all the questions and answers those are asked in the call and answered by the management. If you see, this is also in the short format so that it is easier to glance through and you get the gist of what was asked and answered. Again, Q&A helps to know the management. You get the insight what was asked exactly and how management answered that. If you can see, it is for a particular period and it is easier to go through the previous period. This is useful when you are tracking more number of companies so that you can cross compare or always refer to these historical Concall highlights so that you know whether management is achieving their guidance or not, etc. For an example, here they have guided for 100 basis point improvement in gross margin over next 2 to 3 quarters. So this is an information that you can track for next 2 to 3 quarters. This was given in the Q3. Outlook is one of the most important section of the Concall, and generally people attend Concall to hear the outlook guidance and take their decisions accordingly. So here if you see, they have given guidance for opening Domino's stores. There are particular numbers here like how many stores they will open. Also there is a guidance on EBITDA margin improvement for next 3 years, how they will refinance their debt, what is the focus on Popeyes. So all these pointers are important to track in the future quarters or years. Let's now look at the chat section. Concall highlights and Q&A gives you an overview of what completely happened in the Concall, right? Now, chat section, it is more you take a backseat and AI will help you to analyze the complete call. Let's see how. So first of all, it mentions the key topics discussed in the call. For an example, store expansion plan, margins and profitability, Popeyes expansion. So these are the main topics of the discussion. So in the Q&A, you will see there are repetition of questions and all that. So here AI synthesize all that information and gives you the uh, complete information as you ask the questions. Then you can see there are AI generated questions which helps you to understand the con call better. Let's ask something from here. What is the outlook on industry growth for FY26? So here we can see Samir Khetarpal. He is the CEO of Jubilant Foodworks. He is saying that this market is completely unorganized. What is the market sized? But he refrained from commenting on the overall demand sentiment. So this is how you can ask questions and AI would go through the complete con call and answer it. For an example, let's ask what was the discussion on margins. So now we can see AI has curated an answer. So there was a discussion on EBITDA margin. They have achieved a record high EBITDA of this value and 12.4% growth. Then there is a margin expansion potential. What are the strategies? I think they have started on discounting and free delivery, so there would be impact on margins. Then there is also discussion on DP Eurasia. What are the factors affecting margin DP Eurasia business? So this is how, and there is also a discussion on other brands because Dunkin', Hongs, Popeyes, these are the new or emerging businesses, so that will impact the margins. So this is how you get the complete information. Here also we can see there is a summary table which mentions like what is the EBITDA margin for Domino's India, DP Eurasia and other brands. And we are also getting the factors affecting the margins and what is the future outlook. So this is how AI can curate the information and give you the answers. And this is extremely useful because by hearing the con call also you understand the management, but you have to go through it again to connect the dots and understand the margin expansion or other business tactics or what management is going to do in the future. Also, you can check that this is for a particular period and you can go to the previous period to ask questions and analyze that con call. Let's try to ask one more question from here. For an example, I really like this question, quote, important management commentary. So here it has curated the most important quotes from the transcript. Maybe it is changing the business strategy or things those are most important in the call, like store expansion plan, margin and profitability, new product development, and etc. It is sometimes useful to read or hear what management is exactly trying to say and read between the lines. We can also directly access the transcript from here. So this is the full transcript that you can go through to understand the full conversation. So this is how we provide the complete integrated experience, starting from the transcript, recording, and summaries and chat. So all at one place to help you analyze the con calls. We can also access the con call chat history from here. So let's say next quarter you come back and you see what you have asked AI and what it has answered. That is also useful for the reference. Let's look into the result calendar now. Here we can track all the upcoming results and all the announced result easily with the EPS previews. Further, we can filter by the sector and also we can filter by the market cap. Let's see all the mid cap companies those are going to announce the result today. So as you can see, Astral has already announced their results. Bata is going to announce. Then we can go to the announced results. We can find all the results. Those are already announced in this quarter. Let's check all the companies in the alcohol sector which have announced the result already in this quarter. So if you see Sula Vineyards, Global Spirits, Radico Khaitan, Allied Blenders, all of these companies have already announced the result. Further, we can go to this company and check the numbers in detail. Let's look into the Concall calendar now. Here we can see upcoming concalls. These are basically invites for joining the Concall live. Let's take one example. Sequent Scientific Q1 FY26 earning conference call is scheduled on this date and time, and here are the joining details. We can directly join through this link or dialing on this number. It's always fun joining in con calls and we get to learn so much. We recommend you to do that for the companies you are following or you are interested in. Let's look at the other section, which is Concall for analysis. Here we can find all the con calls which are released in the current quarter and are ready for the analysis. There are more than 550 companies which have already completed the con call and have released the recordings and transcript for investors. Again, we can filter by sector and by market cap here. Generally, when company is doing con call, that's a good sign, especially for the small companies if they are doing their first con call. It's a sign that they are ready to talk with investor and tell their story. We can find such ideas or opportunities by applying these filters. For an example, small cap or micro cap companies. We can find all the con calls, analyze them, and understand their business. Let's take a look at the exchange filings. So here you can explore the exchange filings which are done by the company directly to the exchange like BSE or NSE. Exchange is a source of truth for any information. Companies are compelled to post any material information that can impact the company or which is relevant to the shareholders or stakeholders to the exchange. You can also find a compliance calendar on the BSE website. For an example, company has to submit results within 45 days from the quarter, and there are more such events for which there is a dedicated timeline for reporting. So this is the source of truth for any information flow. So it's better if you get used to looking at these filings. For an example, what we are doing is we are dividing this information by quarter. So you can see for the latest quarter, all announcements are presented here. Still, there are too many. So further, you can filter this by the category. For an example, if I want to look at all the annual reports, I can just filter by that. And here are all the annual report directly sourced from the exchange in the real time. This information is really useful if you get used to this and start reading these documents or whatever is reported to the exchange. For an example, let's look at the press release or media release. These are mainly the media releases posted by companies for any important announcement and which may impact company's business going ahead. That's it. I think we have covered a lot of ground to get you started on our platform. Keep your feedback coming and consider subscribing to our premium plan if you like what we are doing and help us improve the product. If you have any more queries, feel free to post it into the comment section. We will be happy to take it. Thank you. Bye.